So there is a lot of backlash going on right now on the internet regarding the movie Sound of Freedom. Now, a lot of people are talking about Sound of Freedom, but they're talking about it from two different aspects, right? So you have people on one side who are praising the film for showcasing the truth about what happens to children and the bad things that happen essentially, in the trafficking scene. Let's just put that out there, right? But you also have another side. You have another side of people that for some reason are trying to tie this movie to right-wing conspiracies, trying to tie this movie to QAnon, trying to tie this movie and downplay this movie and trash the movie, which is just absolutely insane to me because the movie does nothing but show what really goes down in this world. So it makes me curious as to why so many people on the left are trying to destroy this movie, narratively speaking, in the public eye. Why does it matter so much? Why is it affecting them so much? And why are they going so crazy? It's a story that I found to be very interesting. Now, we have an article here from Bounding Into Comics that talks about the Sound of Freedom producer and actor Eduardo, who apparently responds to CNN guest Mike Rothschild trashing the film and moviegoers. This is something that's been going on for at least about a week now. I mean, I don't remember how long the movie's come out, but it's been out just for a few, like probably a week or so. It's been out for a little while, and they have been going crazy over it. So we're going to get into this story, guys. It's a big one, but of course, before we do, just consider giving this video a like to push us out into the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing because we're on our way to 25,000 subscribers. So it says, Sound of Freedom producer and actor Eduardo recently responded to a CNN guest, Mike Rothschild, who bashed the film and moviegoers during a recent segment of the channel CNN Tonight program. Rothschild first took issue with the film star Jim Caviezel stated, "You have a lot of people who are in this world of QAnon who say they don't know what that is. They've never heard of it. They're just asking questions. With somebody like Jim, he is openly embracing it." I just want to be very clear. I find it very strange how these people are trying to say that talking about child trafficking and bad things that are happening out there is somehow a QAnon conspiracy. That leads me to believe that the people who are desperately trying to destroy the narrative and the image around this film are the ones who are probably perpetuating or joining in on the activities that the film is talking about. That's the only reason why I would see anybody try to downplay a film that talks about such a serious subject. Why would you try to hide it? Why would you try to talk about anything else but that? It just seems weird to me, and it's not the first time that this particular side of the aisle has defended people who do things like this, or at the very least have tried to downplay the actions of certain people, aka Hunter, who try to do certain things like this, right? So it doesn't make much sense to me, but again, it's all a narrative. It's all narrative controlling. It says he's openly using its catchphrases and its concepts. Rothschild continued, he's speaking at QAnon conventions, and this film is being marketed to either specific QAnon believers or people who believe all the same tenets of QAnon but claim they don't know what that is. After writing from the film, and Caviezel, Rothschild then admitted the most durable and most believable conspiracy theories are not entirely false. There is something in them that is true, and the rest of that is false. But the believers point to the one true thing, and they say, oh, you don't believe this particular thing is true. In terms of child trafficking, we know trafficking is real. We know it has real victims. No one is denying that, he admitted. Well, it looks like you are, though. It looks like you are actively trying to dismiss and downplay what's going on in the trafficking scene. It is a real thing. It's heinous. I don't understand why you are trying to downplay it other than you probably partake in those activities. It makes me a little suspicious of the people who are against this stuff. But again, this is where we're at in this crazy clown world we live in. It says he then took issue with Sound of Freedom specifically, but these films are created out of moral panics. They are created out of bogus statistics. They are created out of fear. And with something like Sound of Freedom, it's specifically looking at QAnon concepts of these child trafficking rings that are run by these high-level elites, and only people like Tim Ballard and only people like Jim, and by extension the ticket buyer, can help bring these trafficking rings down. He concluded, so there's a very participatory element. You're not just going to see a movie killing 2 hours on a hot day. You are helping bring down these pedophile rings and save children. Now it's not true, but it's very comforting and it's very warm feeling to have. That's insane. Who is trying to, like, I don't understand how that's even relative, right? Like, how are you even trying to compare that or make that into a thing? Nobody is saying by going to these movies that we're taking down the pedophile rings. All we're saying is that these movies are bringing to light information and a subject matter that should be talked about and should be readily available for people to watch so they are better educated about what's going on. if you are against the education of people regarding certain bad activities happening to children, then chances are you either profit from it or you partake in it. It's one of the two, right? You have to either profit from it or partake in it to be the one on that side of the aisle that's saying, "Oh no, 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 we can't talk about this. We can't. This is not something to talk about. It's all false. This is, there's some truth to it, but at the end of the day, most of it's a lie. And yeah, forget the truth. This should just focus on a lie." Like, no, no, absolutely not. You are absolutely insane if you think that people are going to ignore this subject. And here's another thing too. So the more that you try to hide this from people's education, the more that they're going to seek it, right? So if you have all of these stories coming out talking about how this is a QAnon conspiracy theory, it's a right-wing conspiracy theory movie, of course people are going to be more interested in it, because we've come to notice that anytime the left-wing media makes a collaborative effort to try to destroy either a movie, a TV show, an article, whatever the case may be, anytime they make an effort, a concerted effort to destroy someone, they have now created that into a more interesting thing to seek out. Hence why Donald Trump is so loved and hated at the same time. People literally go and seek him because everybody's trying to silence him. So when there is an effort like this to try to silence someone, it makes you wonder, what is it that they're saying that is so scary to the people who are in charge, or the people who are paid by the people in charge? What is so scary that they don't want that to be heard or seen? It makes it more interesting. So again, not only are they feeding the fires of the actual movie itself, but it's making it more interesting to want to seek out from people who probably wouldn't have gone to go see this movie in the first place, considering the low budget and the low amount of theaters the movie was actually in. But that's just my opinion. So it says he responded to Rothschild's comments during an appearance on the War Room with Steve Bannon telling him, "I'm glad that at least they are in your face, so there's evidence who wants to support a movement that is designed to end child trafficking and who doesn't. So it's right there in your face. And people know what's going on," he continued, "and they know that there is a lot of people involved in this crime everywhere. When we talk about more than a $150 billion business, that means that there is a lot of people involved in this crime." He then said, and for someone to say, don't go see this movie, don't waste your time, I mean, come on. For someone to say this is just Tim Ballard and Jim, that is just not true. There are thousands of people involved in this movement. More than 3 million people went to see this film this week, and I've been getting calls from Colombia, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Argentina. He detailed, "Every day my phone is like, it's hot right now. So many phone calls. When is the movie coming out here? When is the movie? Asia, Europe." I mean, this is a global movement. CNN is not going to stop this. I'm sorry, but CNN is not going to stop this movement. There is no way they're going to stop this movement. It's too late, Steve. It's too late. You know what? They tried, but it's too late. And honestly, at the end of the day, I agree with that. It's strange to me that CNN and news organizations like CNN are actively trying to stop this movie, are actively trying to make this movie seem like the most evil thing in the world. I don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense. The only way it could possibly make sense is, like I said earlier in the video, either they profit from this or they partake in the activities. Otherwise, why would you be against people knowing this particular information about what's going on in the world, especially when it has to do with children? Why? Well, it's quite simple, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen with the LGBTQ activist movement, we've seen with a bunch of things going on in activism online as a whole, that they are absolutely targeting children. They desperately want your kids, and a movie like this exposing that sort of ideology is definitely going to scare the ever-living shit out of people who want your kids. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.